I'm going to walk you through a presentation that I've shown several times for students and faculty about the process of making a poster for an academic audience. This process is basically a two-step process. It involves being aware and learning and applying a series of general principles of graphic design. It also involves to be reasonably skilled with a tool that will allow you to make a poster. There's plenty of those tools. Today I am going to demo only one of them for you, Adobe Illustrator. The outline of this presentation consists of show you a set of general principles of visual design. These are absolutely general principles that apply not only for what we're gonna attempt to do today, like a poster for an academic audience, but also for any kind of a visual product. With that, we can be talking about magazine covers, entire books, yearbooks, and websites, and wedding invitations, and anything you can think of. I am also going to share with you some set of specific recommendations that I've seen that because of our experience with doing this kind of events, and I mean symposium type events where you have a whole bunch of posters around in a room and people walk around the room and stop in some of them, not all of them, talk with people about the content. I am going to show you then a series of samples of great posters and not so great posters in order to learn what things to do and what things to avoid. And in the end, I'm going to give you a very quick introduction to Adobe Illustrator. The series of design principles that graphic designers around the world use have been collected into a funny sounding acronym that stands for contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. Those are the main four design principles that you have to look for even before you start conceptualizing poster. The first one is the easiest one to apply and to understand, the principle of contrast. We use contrast every day when we just write a document in a word processor. In the same way as I did right here in my PowerPoint presentation, where I highlighted this first sentence, and what I did was just to change the color of it all, of the font, right? Instead of being white, it's yellow, and it catches your attention. Not only I did that, but I also made it bold. So this has two levels of contrast with respect to the rest of the text. Here, the words visual interest are in a different color, and here the word attractive is only in bold. So as you can see, there are several levels of how you can present parts of your content that you believe are most important or catchier or more relevant or for some reason or another need to be highlighted. That if you want to make two things different, you have to make them clearly different. If you make them slightly different, just because you felt like making two sentences different or two subtitles different or anything like that will confuse the viewer, because it will lead the viewer to say, okay, title is bigger and it's another font or another size of the font because of a reason. If you don't have a good reason why to highlight that that particular sentence, then don't do it. The second concept is repetition. Repetition basically stands for the fact that if you are going to use a certain type of font for your title, and a certain type of size for your picture, and a certain type of bullet point for your enumerations, keep them consistent throughout the whole product. In a website, that stands for the same, in a paper, in any type of layout, you are not going to be using different bullet points for different things. They should be the same. Even though your poster can be a daunting thing to look at because it's 3 feet by 4 feet and it's huge and it has a lot of content, if you are consistent with certain elements, that makes it more visually cohesive. Repeating elements throughout a design creates consistency and visual unity. Principle number 3, alignment. This is also very easy to understand, but it's not so easy to apply it when you have a poster, which is basically a two-dimensional huge surface that you have to start filling up. When you write a paper, your paper can be 50 pages and it's very long, but you should only take care about one dimension. In a poster, things get quickly much more complicated because we are talking about two dimensions. Put a new element in your poster, you have to find another element on that same poster to align it with. And that could be center alignment, it could be vertical alignment, horizontal or vertical, center, left, right, justified, anything will go. And it would be good that you are consistent with what you're using, but you don't have to necessarily use the same alignment. Some alignment, yes, but not necessarily the same alignment throughout. The last design principle is much more subtle, but it's actually very easy to apply when you have written all your content beforehand. Is the principle of proximity. Basically, to group related items together. That it's obvious, and actually all these 4 design principles are very obvious when you listen to them, but it's much less obvious to apply them. Proximity will be very easy to apply if you have all your content beforehand, if you've written all your blurbs and all your introduction and your methods and everything that you want to show. Then all the related text and images will come together naturally. By grouping several elements in close proximity to each other, they become one visual unit. Content is king. That means that you have to have all your text written beforehand. You have to have all your images selected beforehand, even though there could be many more than the ones that you want to use. All your graphics done, all your tables are already set up. Your goal is to create a document that is both interesting and attractive in that order. You generate your content, you collect your content, you make sure that the content is appropriate. That is the meat of your product. Then it needs to be attractive, and that's a separate process, and that's the process that we are learning about today. I'm not going to tell you about your content. You are the expert. I'm going to tell you how to make it more attractive for your audience. Summarizing can be a painful thing. Many of you that are going to start building a poster from a written manuscript could think, I'm in a great starting point, and that's true up to a certain extent. It's both a blessing and a curse. The blessing is that you have all your content, but actually you have much more content than you actually need. The key thing here is to understand that a poster is not a finished product on itself. It's not meant to be like a paper that needs every single detail that your poster doesn't need to be a finished product. Your poster is never your poster alone. Your poster is your poster, and you will be always standing by your poster answering questions from your audience. If you have the pain of trying to summarize a 20-page paper into a poster, yes, it's going to be a pain. The thing to remember is that you don't have to put everything. You have to summarize, yes, and maybe you have a lot of things to say and to show. Then the key to do that is to focus on visuals rather than text. Another thing to avoid the graphic designer trip. When you see the full capabilities of a professional level tool like Adobe Illustrator, you could start getting really enthusiastic about the features, the type of things you can do. When you start playing with Adobe Illustrator, you will start realizing that you can title in a curve, and the curve can be anything you want. You can wrap your text in any shape you want. You can put a text wrapped in a star, and incredible things. When you start getting, my recommendation as far as making a poster is that when you start reaching to that point, stop right there. Don't overdo the use of cool design features like cool fonts or the use of background images. Background images are not a no-no, but they should never ever get in the way of your content. Here I'm using a background image from this a PowerPoint template. It's reasonably quiet, right? It has several shades of blue, and it doesn't get in the way. Keep that in mind. If you're gonna use textures, use something that doesn't get in the way. There can't be ever the case that your viewer can't actually read a particular word because you have something else going on.